Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be a quick guide to chickens in Farming Simulator 22. We're going to go over all the different steps here that you need as far as doing chickens in the game. There's not a lot going on here, and I don't have a ton of details. I haven't tested every single aspect and every single possibility, but this will give you enough information to do chickens, produce eggs, and have chickens reproduce in Farming Simulator 22. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we need to go into the store, go down here, scroll down to the bottom to these three lines, go to the construction mode, and what we need to do is go over to animals, and then go down to chickens. We have two base game chicken pens. So this first chicken pasture will hold 30 chickens, and the second one here will hold 360 chickens. Now, you can come out here and place them as you want to. I also, for this one, if I'd like to, I can rotate holding down the right mouse button, but this one I also using M and N can change some of the colors on it. If I go to this side, you can see a little bit better that door changing colors on there. So you can do that. On this one, you can't change the color, but you can rotate it as you need to. I already have two of these guys placed out, so we're going to use these guys that are out here. Now, step 2 is getting chickens into the pen. There's a couple ways to do this. The first one is actually going back into the store, going to the animal dealer, selecting which chicken pasture or which chicken coop you'd like the animals to go in, hitting start, and then opens up the animal buy menu, which we'll look at here in a second, but you'll know how to use that in a minute. Now, if we go up to the pen itself, you'll see this icon here, which these icons can be turned off. If you don't want these icons on here, go down to game settings here, right here, interactive zone. Sorry, they're under general settings, interactive zone markers. I can turn those off. You see it disappear out there, turn it back on, it goes back on. I'm gonna leave them on for the sake of this tutorial. If we walk up here, up in the upper left-hand corner, you can see an R for open animal dialog. If I R to open the animal dialog, it'll give me again that animal screen that we just saw before. So you have a couple options here. You can either buy chickens that are 0 months old and they'll reproduce every 2 months, or you have chickens that are already 6 months old and reproduce every 2 months there as well. Or you can buy roosters. Roosters, as far as I can see, won't do anything besides potentially you'll get more roosters in the future. The 10 months is different on here. I haven't gotten any roosters because I haven't done a ton of experimenting with it. But again, if you're trying to produce eggs, you're going to want chickens here. So if I hit select down here in the bottom left-hand corner, I can now adjust how many I would like to buy, which is really helpful. So if I go up to 30, that's going to max us out. We'll go ahead and buy 30 chickens and put them into that pen. So there we go. Now, if I go over to this pen here, this pen, same thing. I can go up here. I can hit R to open the chicken dialog here, which we'll change it up a little bit here. We'll say we'll put 40 of the younger chickens in there. And then we'll go here and we will hit select and it'll put 40 in that same one. So we can hit 40 and we want to buy, and let's say we wanted to buy another additional 40. We can just select it again and then hit buy for 40 again. And let's say we wanted to put some roosters in there, we can select that and put, well, 40 of them in there as well. So there you go. We have now 160 roosters in this one. Good to go for us. Now, if we go into the menu here, if we hit escape to go into the menu and go up to the animal screen, it's going to show us everything we have. So 40 chickens, 80 chickens, 40 roosters, and then 30 chickens in the other pen. So the chicken coop and the chicken pasture. Now, if we look over here, it has a few things going on here. So first off, their health. Their health is going to be at 0% for now. As long as you take care of them, they will have everything they need. Then we have their reproduction, age less than 6 months. So this reproduction bar will go up as they're reproducing. Then we go over here to productivity. As long as you're taking care of them, which is providing them with food, this productivity bar will stay at 100%. Now, if you remember from FS19, you had to clean up the chickens as well as other animals. You don't have to do that for chickens in this game. You do not have to do any cleaning for them. There's no cleaning needed. Then if we go down here, eggs. Eggs are going to go up as they get more eggs produced throughout time. Now down here is their food. So you have a total bar, which this more applies to animals that have multiple feed categories. Down here to tell you their total food added up. But down here we just have grain as one category for chickens. So as far as feeding chickens goes, we have to feed them either wheat, barley, or sorghum for effectiveness 100%. You don't have to feed them all three, just one of them. So sorghum is a new crop in game. So that's the one thing that does change a little bit with chickens in FS22. So we need to provide that to them. Now, how do we provide that to them? You can use a front loader. You can also buy food. If we go into pallets in the store, go under big bag pallets. We can buy wheat to feed them from the store. If we wanted to, that's kind of the chicken feed you can see on there. Or we can provide them with a trailer, wheat, barley, or sorghum, which I have sorghum in this trailer here. Now, as you notice in here, they already have some grain in both these pastures. That's because I was doing some experimenting before. You can ignore the eggs there. There's no eggs there right now. I had some eggs earlier, but I was doing some experimenting with them earlier to kind of test a couple things out. So if we wanted to put food in, we need to go up to these feed icons here, and then that's where we're going to dump it in. So feed icon there, and then on this pen over here, we also have the feed icon right here. So there you go. And then this is going to be where your eggs are going to spawn, but we'll get into that in a second. So if I hop into a tractor here, I have sorghum in the trailer. This one should need a little bit more. Now what I have noticed, if you use the chicken coop, which is the building here, as opposed to the chicken pen, they will hold or have a greater capacity to hold feed as opposed to otherwise. Now it doesn't need very much food, but there you go. That's how you're going to feed them, is just going up to him like that. I can drive this guy out of the way. Now the final step is obviously getting eggs. So what are you going to do with eggs? How do you get eggs? So if we fast forward time here, I'm just going to go ahead and bump it up to 120. We will start slowly having eggs pop in here as time goes on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cut in here, and I'll bring you guys back in here in just a minute. All right, I fast forwarded through an entire day, so it's the next day on here. I can slowly just clock back down. So what we have is we have our egg pallet. Now this one we can still lift up. And by the way, in FS22, it's much easier to hold on to stuff. I have no mods installed. I had to do all sorts of crazy things to get this to fly off. So again, if I move forward, go backwards, it does move fairly easily with me. Now, once it gets heavy enough, I'm assuming you're not gonna be able to lift it. I haven't tried that, but it's nice to have a pallet. If I walk up to the pallet, it'll show me how many pieces are in there. And additionally, if I walk up to the pastures down the bottom right-hand corner, it'll tell me how many animals, their health, and their food level there. So it'll do that for both of these. As you can see there as well, now that we have fast forwarded some time, if we go into our animals, their health is now at 100%, and the reproduction bar is going across slowly. So health 100%. So there you go. And these guys are not reproducing yet because their age is too young. So once they get old enough, they will go past that and do that for us. Now, another thing to note, if we actually go up to the windows here, I forgot to mention this earlier, what we didn't have in FS19 is this bar up here, which tells us how many we have and how many we can hold in each of the pens. There are no ways to transport chickens from the animal dealer itself in FS22 using a trailer, at least at this time. Remember, this is coming out as only base game equipment. Nothing in here we're using is terribly complicated. Now, the final thing we need to talk about is what to do with eggs. So, as always, if we go into the menu here and we go to the sell screen, we can scroll down and find eggs on here, and we can just sell them. We can take them to any of these sell points and sell them at any of these prices here. Now, the other thing we can do is regarding production. So eggs can be taken to the bakery point as long as you take butter, sugar, and strawberries there as well. And as well as flour as well. As long as you take all that stuff to the bakery, you can produce cake, which if we go down here, the very bottom, if I can find it in here, where is the cake at? There's the cake right there. You can now sell it for much more money if you wanted to take your eggs and invest them into making cakes. So just something to note. Now, you did need other products in order to get there as well, so it might be easier to start off just selling them as eggs. But anyhow, guys, that is everything you need to know about chickens to get you started in FS22. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like down below. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and watching.